Hello, hello, and welcome to another episode of the Beyond Your Horizon podcast. I, of course, am your host, Coach Jon John, and I have the wonderful pleasure and opportunity to interview someone who first started off as my manager. We worked together, but maybe now 10 years ago now, I think, Melanie
Oh my
White.
gosh, yes.
I think,
It,
yeah,
it
worked
was 10
together.
years ago.
About 10 years ago as my manager, and then became a friend, then became a podcast co-host. We are talking about no one other than the Melanie White. Melanie has a strong background in HR transformation. She is currently the founder of Sisyphus HR and a HR consultant. I know you also do coaching. I know you also do yoga. There's just so much about who you are. Do you want to take a minute, I guess, and give your own introduction into who Melanie White is for people who might not be familiar with who you are?
Well, that was a great introduction. I'm like, oh, I am kind of all of that. Okay.
All of that.
But yes, I am Melanie White. I own Sisyphus HR, which is a boutique consulting firm. I founded the firm to help companies you transform their HR work into um, functional. It's a business accelerator, basically. We help CEOs and business owners align their HR strategy with their growth goals, whether that's scaling operations, navigating transition, building leadership pipelines. We serve nonprofits, faith based organizations, small businesses, groups that often need like that big four consulting firm
Hmm.
experience, but it's delivered with more heart, more strategy, and more flexibility. So that's one side of the business. And the other side is I am a certified coach. I've been doing coaching uh, in a certified way since I think, what was that, 2008 or 18 or something,
Okay.
and and have been doing it in my professional life for decades. And so it's really kind of the core of who I am, is to help people get from one place to another and to remove those emotional roadblocks that keep people stuck where they are. There's a lot of fear, and my motto is everything you want is on the other side of fear. So you just gotta do it. So those are the things that I do. And yes, I do yoga. I love it. And yeah, that's me.
I love it. I love it. Everything you want is on the other side of fear. And I love that. That definitely fits into the theme of beyond your horizon and going beyond your comfort zone, going beyond your perceived limitations. And that includes also going beyond your fear because the life you want to manifest is definitely beyond your fear. And thank you for the work that you are doing, not only for organizations, but also for individuals who make up these organizations. I mean, I think,
Thank
well,
you.
we ourselves are like the main organization, right? Like that you
Hmm.
incorporated, right? You are a business as well, and it's so good that you are able to use your power that you currently use to transform businesses, specifically HR. But you can also use that to help people get to where they need to be as well. That's a beautiful thing. So
Thank
before we
you.
get into it all, I do want to back up a little bit because I want them to get to know, I guess, who you are as an individual as well, the things that you enjoy doing. Last night, you went to a comedy show last
I
night,
did.
right?
I went to see Zainab Johnson.
Okay,
That was really good. I had never seen her live before. I am a big comedy enthusiast. I believe that you've
okay.
got to laugh at least once a day to just kind of keep life going. Laughter is great medicine, and I try to watch comedy shows and all of that as often as possible.
Hmm.
And one of my friends had an extra ticket, and I went. Had a great time. It was at the City Winery here in Atlanta, and she's a unique comedian. Probably not somebody I would have jumped up and well, I wouldn't have jumped up and said I want to go, but it was a great experience. She has a very conversational tone in her comedy, and
Hmm.
she's she's, let's see, what is her thing? She's a black woman who is Muslim, who is a comedian, which is a unique dynamic. And so she brings a crowd that is very diverse.
Okay.
That was very interesting to see as well. I'm a colossal people watcher. So
Mm.
it was an enjoyable experience.
Okay, all right. Yeah, that definitely stood out to me when you told me you were going. I'm on my comedy stand-up journey right
Mm-hmm.
now. I'm at an academy, like it's ATL Comedy Academy, and it's taught by a lady by the name of Osunji. And I have really been enjoying my time just preparing for
Mm-hmm.
this next level in my life where I'm going to, try my hand at doing stand-up. The reception has been very good right now. The feedback has been very, very good. So I'm excited to see where that will take me to.
I love that you're
But
pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone as
Oh
well.
yes, because
Mm-hmm.
I like you also believe that the life that we want to live is outside of our fear, it's beyond our fear. And sometimes when you may not think that doing something like improv or taking a comedy class, you might look at it and say, how does that tie into my own personal growth, spiritual growth, professional growth?
Mm-hmm.
But the more comfortable you are in being who you are, the better you are, I feel anyway, when you're on your job in life, as because to be a comic, well, my goal is to be as authentic as possible, right? To be
Mm-hmm.
as who I am, because I find that when I'm myself and just say the thoughts of my own mind, people really they find it funny, or they gravitate toward it. So it's cool to find your own tribe within all of that, within the comedy sphere. But not only do you have a thing for comedy, I'm glad that you're doing that, but we also attended a fashion show the other
Yes.
weekend. Yeah, look at you, got it all excited. Melanie and I have a mutual friend named Quentin, who is the owner and CEO of a fashion brand called was it
Rag and
Rag and
bucket.
Bucket? Rag and Bucket.
Mm-hmm.
And he hosted his first fashion show experience. Him, along with Fluid Covenant, as well, his friend Benji, put on a wonderful fashion show. We got to see some unique creative design, some androgynous looks. And we were sitting up there looking like Anna, was it Anna Wintour? You were Anna Wintour, and I was, what's the guy that
Andre
passed
Leon
away?
Talley.
Andre Leon Talley.
Yes.
We were front row
Mm-hmm.
for it all, and it was a magnificent show. And I mean, you even have already commissioned. I heard you already have a piece that he's working on for you.
Mm-hmm.
So which piece did you pick from that outlet, from that look that we saw?
The black piece with the silver like chain look
Um,
on it. Yes.
yes,
Mm-hmm. Yes.
yes.
And
You
then
you
there was
don't.
a necklace that one of the gentlemen was wearing that I am trying to convince Benji to release. It wasn't
Oh,
part of the
nice.
show, but it's his piece. And I'm trying to see how I can negotiate that as well. Because, if you're putting it on the runway, it should be for sale, and
Oh,
it was beautiful. So I am, yes, exercising my full Anna Wintour, and
love
that
it.
that that event, and I think we talked about that. It I have been so stuck in this corporate look, and I even had to challenge myself this morning to put on a bright color, to wear bright color on my nails. I got my nails done yesterday, and I'm always in muted, you know, beige, mauve, something that blends in from the corporate perspective. But I'm not in corporate anymore. I am running
Oh,
my own business. And I
yes.
need to reconnect with my own personal style and my own personal flair. You brought up the fact that I told you many years ago that when I retire, I want to wear flowy clothes. I don't want anything tight. And I
Yes.
really just want to wear my hair it is, however it grows out of my head. Well, I'm not retired, but I
Mm-hmm.
definitely am retired from corporate America.
Mm-hmm.
And I am starting to embrace that brighter colors, different looks, my own hair. Though I will always put in, a little extension for, fashion cuteness. But those are the things that are really resonating with me. And so, fashion, I was a big fashion person back in high school, And, the high school I went to was called the Fashion Show, affectionately. And I went to Spelman. Back in the 80s, the Spelman was definitely the ladies that dressed. We didn't go out, like the young ladies now with bonnets on our heads and slippers and not looking fully put together, even just to go get breakfast. So somewhere along the line, that just got lost. And I am in a phase of trying to reclaim that.
Beautiful. Because we did have that conversation, in between the shows and before and after the show. Melanie and I was talking, and one of the most memorable conversations that we had was around your love for fashion as a
Hmm.
child. You had mentioned how, you were the child who would cut out, different looks and things like that. And then you did, as you said, that you pushed that interest or that away
Hmm.
so that you could adapt a more quote unquote corporate look. And I was curious to know that when you made that decision, did someone influence that decision? Was it someone at Spelman, or was it that maybe you were watching TV and you saw that if I want to be successful in corporate, then I must change who I am or be something else? Were you told that, or was that something you just knew?
I think it's a little bit of both.
Hmm.
So my parents had professional careers, my mother in academia, my father in insurance. And they were the first generation of affirmative action where
Hmm.
people of color were brought into organizations. And
Hmm.
at the time, back in the 70s, it was all about assimilation and conformity. And
Hmm.
so I learned that and watched my parents, navigate that in many different ways. Coming out of college in the early 90s, that
Hmm.
was still the norm to be blue suit, white shirt, very conservative. This is the way. You don't wear pants to work, you wear pantyhose, and you wear your straight hair and you blend in and work. And that also had a very masculine tone to it.
Yeah.
And bringing that into my work life, that worked. It made me effective. It made me respected. It brought all of those things. But unintentionally, it dampened my personal creativity. There were many years where I would say to people, I'm just not creative. Yeah, I am, but
Mm.
I was so focused on work. And you've worked with me, I love working,
Yeah.
and I love the things that I do. So it does sometimes consume me, not as much anymore because now I can have a really good work life balance. But it's for a long time, it was who I was.
Hmm.
And probably in about 2011, when I realized that my team hated me,
Mm.
um, that was when I found my own therapist to really start to address all of the things that had been going on in my life, personally and professionally, that made me much harder, much more um, masculine presenting, much more controlled corporate. And that has been an evolution of however many years that is, what, 14 years now,
Hmm.
to shift and change. And this is kind of now the manifestation of that. I own my own company. I don't have someone telling me what the corporate professional dress standards are, what
Yeah.
that guideline is, and I can define it for myself. And yes,
Beautiful.
there are still professional standards that I believe in, uphold, and will always, keep. But there is a little bit of flexibility. My hair can be my hair. Yes, I'm going to always be, professional, conservative, put together. But what does that look like for me? And so that's kind of
Yeah.
where I am.
So in 2011, when you found out, you said that your team didn't like you, was that the time that they were calling you BMW?
That is it. Yes, I can. I will. They worked very well. Like I am a hard driver. You've experienced that. I
Yeah.
believe in pushing people to not to their limit, but to help them elevate. So giving people as much autonomy and authority as they possibly can have. However, the way that I was doing it was not engaging. People didn't understand why I was doing certain things. I was not communicating. I was much more authoritarian in my communication at that time. And I thought people liked me
Mhm.
until I wanted a BMW. So that was, I told everybody, I want a BMW. I want to go to Germany and watch it be made and the whole nine. But then I'm coming around a corner and I hear my team talking about a BMW. So I thought they were talking about the car. So I was anxiously going to try to jump in and get in on the conversation, only to then realize that they were talking about me. My name is Melanie White, so my initials are MW. You can imagine what the B was in front of that. And I was
Wow.
crushed and was like,
Mhm.
they don't like me. Oh,
Mhm.
what's going on? So did a lot of introspection, talked with people, and that was when I realized I need to get into some therapy to kind of really address what was going on, because part of that was I was presenting angry black woman, and several other different dynamics were happening at the same time, and I really needed to get that resolved because that's not who I was inside, but my outside was not reflecting who I was inside.
Mm. Wow. Okay. So the source of your, I'm going to say witchiness, even though it wasn't a witch,
Yes,
the source of your your witchiness, you was what exactly? Was the source of your witchiness that you were just more so determined and focused, or was it that you had those past traumas and things that may have, shaped you to be that way?
all past trauma.
Past
And
trauma,
you
unhealed
know,
trauma.
I think you and I have personally talked about
Yeah.
how I have done some research, and in talking with family members, my trauma goes all the way back to when I was probably about 2 months old.
Mm-hmm.
Um, not, and I preface this with my mother has passed, and I love her on everything.
Mm-hmm.
But I have grown to learn, understand, and then in reading her journals since she has passed, my mother did not like herself,
Mm.
and she was not comfortable in herself. And so parenting was difficult for her. And I was just like her. And so it's difficult to like somebody that's exactly like you when you don't like yourself. And so that just played out in my life
Mm-hmm.
in many different ways. Then I was
Mm-hmm.
an overweight child
Mm.
and became an overweight adult. And so all of those insecurities and factors played into how I brought myself to the forefront. And I was hiding, but trying to be seen. But, again, the outside didn't reflect the inside. And I didn't really have a good way to bring that kind of dissonance together. So there was just a lot that needed to be unpacked. Hence, 14 years of therapy.
Wow. So those were some of the things you faced, your traumatic experiences. I know you've also dealt with some health issues as well, experiencing some personal losses and whatnot. So how has all of that stuff,
Hmm.
how has that shaped your professional path?
How has it shaped the path?
Yeah.
I think at each turn, at each triumph or trial in my professional life, there has been a parallel personal challenge, struggle, or something happening.
Mm-hmm.
And one of my past leaders, one of my former managers, um, used to call me tenacious. Like, she wouldn't even call me Melanie. She'd be like, "Where's tenacious?" Because I think that is the thing when you are always striving for perfection. Because I was a colossal perfectionist. When
Mm-hmm.
you have trauma, that is one of the outcomes.
Mm-hmm.
And as I strove for perfection,
Mm-hmm.
that tenacious drive is what was there. And
Mm-hmm.
so I just, that's what kind of shaped it, is the tenacity to be like, oh, okay, one thing might be a failure, but I can keep going. And quick resolution, we're not going to stay stuck here, because if you stay stuck, you're going to be stuck forever. And that has just been the thing that really carried through. So I'd probably say the
Hmm.
tenacity is the beneficial outcome from the trauma.
Mm, mm. I just wanted to look up the word tenacious and just define it for our audience, people that are listening. So tenacious means to not easily let go or to give up. It says a strong grip or an unyielding advocate might both be described as tenacious. You know, a word whose synonyms include resolute, firm, and persistent. And I think those words describe you. I would say
Mm-hmm.
that. I would say that. I definitely
Mm-hmm.
will say that. Oh wow. Okay. So great. So I see that throughout your work there. You have worked with some major organizations as well through your life. You've worked with Accenture, Siemens. I know for yourself, Piedmont. Like you've been all over the world traveling as well with your work.
You make me sound so amazing.
But it is true, right? And I right
It is.
like you have done this. You have over like what 30-year career
Mm-hmm.
in HR transformation, and you're also in a not only when you think of human resources. I know a lot of people think of like the people side and the policy side, but HR. I mean, but I'm sorry, but Melanie, she is a self-described bilingual person who can speak both HR and IT.
Oh, you've been researching.
Yeah, yeah, yes.
You
HR tech,
researched.
yeah, because I'm like you as well in that space of saying that like you and I both have worked professionally in the HR technology space, right? We both work in HR technology,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of people don't even realize that there is a department
And it's so
for
lucrative.
that.
If
It
anybody is
is.
listening and they want to get in HR, get in HR technology. That, being an HR generalist will get you nice money. HR technology will get you great money.
You better tell them. Let them know. Let them
Mm-hmm.
know, honey. They be in my DMs all the time on LinkedIn. They be sliding in the
Mm-hmm.
DMs because of your background and experience. And I have
Mm-hmm.
interviewed at corporations that would say like, we can't find anybody, for this role. Like the fact that
Mm-hmm.
you have, like I myself have worked with time and attendance systems, learning management systems, HR systems, and all of these systems, and a lot of HR people don't do well with technology, or they haven't put
Yeah.
enough time in technology. And there's always going to be this separation, especially with HR and IT, because IT is very to the fact and point and all of that,
Yes.
and HR can be too peoply and too whatnot, and you need
Mm-hmm.
that middle ground to bring all that together, right? Okay, so you have this career over 30 years transforming HR, working for these big organizations.
And I'll just throw
So
in and
go ahead.
CNN and Panasonic and ADP as well.
See there, like, just know that she ain't on here just talking. She has the evidence and the proof, the experience to back up who she is and what she's done. And it's so great, that we know that these companies are successful, but but learning how to take that and then put that into building your own self, seeing, and that is the greatest thing that I have learned, is that there is no separation from your professional self and your personal self. We usually like to compartmentalize and
Mm-hmm.
say that, but if you really look at the work that you do, it is an opportunity to grow yourself as well, personally, professionally, spiritually as well. You must do that if you really want to be overall successful. And I see you doing that. All right, now we're going to move this now into the talk of Sisyphus. So if you went through your career, your personal trauma, your hardships, you've had the therapy and that, tell us about the moment when you knew now that you were being called into to create and birth Sisyphus HR.
So that's a long and short answer.
Okay.
So let's take the long answer because I think it's important for people to understand that it didn't happen overnight.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I would venture it was back maybe in about 1994, 95.
Okay.
Um, I started having the entrepreneurial bug. My line sister and very good friend started selling Amway. And I was like, I don't want to do that. Like, I'll buy your apple chips and soap and all of that, but I just don't want to be given product. I need a business, but I need it not to be something where I gotta pass something out. That I knew that was it.
Mm-hmm.
So didn't do that. Then I went and did. So that was probably where the entrepreneurial bug came from. I'll say that. Then got in with a group, tag team marketing. They were, and I can't even remember what we were selling telephone services and then electricity. So this is way back in the 90s before, as soon as those things got deregulated. But I realized I didn't like to sell. I'm a colossal introvert. I, I can't sell something I'm not passionate about, but
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
learning and growing with it. Then I started selling Mary Kay, and at a time when I wasn't really wearing makeups. And I don't want to be the one walking up to women in the grocery store. Hey, you look beautiful. Want some makeup? No. So that didn't work. But I learned
Right.
about invoicing and accounting and all of that type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I always knew there's going to be something because I need a secondary income or something just because I'm clear that like careers have an end. So, you got to have a revenue source. So fast forward, I have done multiple, what is it called? Multi-level marketing programs, learning the systems, learning how things work. And then in August of in July of 2019, 2019 was just a blur. You remember that was the year that
Mm-hmm.
my mother died, my grandmother was murdered, I lost my job and my best friend. Yeah, that was bad. It was a bad year. So in July of that year, right after my grandmother was murdered, um, I had a vision. I will now call it a vision from God. I wasn't sure where it was coming from. That said I would be the CEO of an organization. Now, at that time, I was director in HRIS. I'm having a wonderful career. Everything is wonderful. I could grow and maybe be CHRO, but CEO, not even on my radar. So I was like, okay, God doesn't know what he's talking about. That's why I couldn't call it God because I was like, God knows what I'm doing. Like, CEO is not a thing. But then I got fired and the vision became clearer. Build an HR organization that's yours. But I needed to clear my head because I had just gone through all of that trauma of that year.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when I enrolled in my yoga teacher training program. I took 6 months to really delve into yoga. I needed that for a lot of different reasons, mind, body healing, trauma recovery, all of that. On graduation day, the world shut down from COVID on March 14th, 2020. So it's like, okay, am I building an HR business? Am I building a yoga business? How do I do that online, remotely, in my house, still fearful about what's going on? So I went and got a job because it was possible. And I was like, I don't know what the world looks like.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But nothing was ever as exciting in work anymore because I kept having this feeling this isn't what you're supposed to be doing. So I left that first job, went to Siemens, had a great time, awesome experiences, went around the world with them, building a program that is phenomenal. One of the most proud projects I've worked on, but it wasn't enough. And I kept knowing it and kept knowing it. And then got laid off, and it was merger acquisition, all of that. So, you got to go. But when it happened, I was clear. I'm not going back to corporate anymore. I can't. Like, I don't have that in me anymore. So, what do I do for money? And Sisyphus was born. So, what was it? 2 weeks after layoff, I got my business license and I have been grinding ever since. And it is really the manifestation of 30 years of learning and experience. I think I've told everybody that I've ever talked to that they need to read You Inc. because
Hmm.
it really talks about your entire career is just a series of temp jobs, and your responsibility is to go in and get whatever it is that you can from that experience that you could take with you into whatever you're going to do next. And this business is the culmination of everything that I have ever done, and
Wow.
it brings me peace and joy and happiness and balance in a way that I never even imagined possible.
Mm. Wow. So the name Sisyphus HR. I know we have joked about this because, admittedly, when Melanie shared with me the name of her company, I was like, what in the world? What is Sisyphus? Like, why would you call that? I think you even shared that your daddy was like, it sounds like a disease, you know?
Hmm.
But even with that, but that tenacious spirit of yours, that tenacious and that resilient, he said, no, I know exactly, why I'm calling it this and why it's in my spirit to call it that. So explain to us your reasoning when you called it Sisyphus. How did that resonate with you? Why did you make that choice to call it that?
I wish I had my logo so I could show the picture. Well,
But when I edit it, I can put it up there at this
okay,
part, on the
great.
video part.
So my logo has so in Greek mythology, Sisyphus was doomed to push a boulder uphill for eternity, and that's a lot of times what HR transformation, personal transformation,
First,
life
yes.
feels like you're pushing a boulder uphill, and it just never ends. One of my girlfriends would always say, I feel like I get to the top and I push the boulder and then it just rolls back over me. We felt that happens. And so that I wanted to evoke that mindset, but also the other side of the mountain. I have a lotus flower, and that lotus flower comes from, lotus grows out of the mud.
Yes.
And my company will take you from the feeling of pushing you uphill to a place of peace and joy that really can only come from doing the work and coming out of the mud. And so that is the logo. And Sisyphus, hard to say, but Google was new. Tesla was new. Nike
Hmm.
was new. Though, but now they're part of the everyday lexicon, and I want Sisyphus to be part of the everyday lexicon as well. And it lends to my educational nature because I want people to understand that Greek mythology is important,
Yes.
but also it really does represent the HR journey, the transformation journey, and the personal journey.
Yes. As I like to say, sissy for us. That's how I say it. And I
Yes,
definitely
uh-huh.
remember it. I definitely remember it that way.
Hmm.
So let's get into Sisyphus and talk about the services that you currently offer,
Hmm.
and also what makes your approach so unique.
Hmm. Well, let's do the easy part first. I offer HR consulting.
Mm-hmm.
All of my years work with Accenture, working with multiple companies, doing multiple roles. I understand a lot about a lot of different organizations, and essentially, an HR transformation is a transformation. And as long as you keep the leadership aligned with the project plan, you can make it through. And my unique skill set in that is I have seen all the pitfalls, where the anxiety comes, where people get stressed, quit, or die, unfortunately, and work. And I can stand in those gaps and help bridge that and show them it. Look, I've done this for 30 years. There is an upside. There is a brighter day. Yes, you will feel like the train ran over you, but you'll get there and you'll feel like, oh, that wasn't that bad on the other side, because it just hurts. And that's my understanding of from the coaching side. As a coach, I have lived this. Like I said, I started experiencing trauma at 2 months old to about 45. There was a lot of trauma. I
Mm,
have transitioned myself in many different ways. I don't. No, you weren't. You weren't there when I had the 100-pound weight loss. Those are
mhm,
all of those things that I've had to do just to function, stay alive, and get through. So I know the journey. One of the taglines for my organization is "Declare me uncomfortable,"
mhm,
because that is a place where I have been. I have been uncomfortable. I have been the person, the catalyst for discomfort in organizations. I
mhm,
am the catalyst for discomfort and pushing people outside of their comfort zones. Coaching is not about that softness of, oh, it's going to be okay. No, it's about, no, you've got to face this hard thing. Here's how you move past it. And let's focus on what's on the other side. And so, what makes me unique in that is, again, I've lived it. I care. I really do care about everybody I work with, even my
mhm,
corporate clients. I care about the people that are on the other side. I care about the people that are staying up at night doing, data analysis and aligning the
mhm,
information and, figuring out what's going on, working on that integration plan. I care about those people, not just the project, the people. And
mhm,
in any organization, the people are what gets things done. I don't care how many, you can be a widget maker and you can make widgets, but if you don't have any people, the widgets won't get made.
mm,
And I am passionate about, after 30 years, I'm not trying to climb a ladder or do anything like that anymore. I want to pour. I don't have any children. Where where does all of this go? It goes into all the people that I impact. And so that is probably my biggest differentiator, is that I care extremely. One of the programs that I'm building within my organization is for um, displaced government workers, public school teachers, people that
mhm,
need to make a pivot, but their budget just is not, executive coaching. And
mhm,
I'm developing kind of a scholarship program so that they can get coached without having to pay the regular price. It's because those people need it, but they get left out. And yes, I am a capitalist to my heart, but
mm,
my parents were also people who made sure, even from a young age, that we provided service to our community. And so that's just one of the ways that I am passionate about giving back. And I've been giving back in multiple ways throughout my life.
mhm.
Spelman has that edict, and, you just, you know, if you've been blessed, you have to pass it on. So that is my differentiator.
Nice, nice. So I like how you outline the people that you work with and the people who need you. And that was something I remember from our conversation at the fashion show too that I loved about your realization or the realization that people need you, you know. And it's so like we always sometimes get caught up in the selling of ourselves
Mm-hmm.
instead of knowing who we are, owning who we are, and knowing exactly what we can do for other people, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I want to take a minute to, I know you touched on a few of the people that you do work with, especially those who are looking to make a pivot in their career. If you are listening and you are wanting to make that pivot, Melanie White saying, look, you need me, okay? Because
Mm-hmm.
I can definitely get you to where you want to be. So what about for organizations? If what organization, if you can describe it, that they need you, if they are doing whatever they what whatever it is, what is the organization that needs Melanie White and Sisyphus HR?
I'll start on the coaching side because
Hmm.
that is the side that most people don't think about. Especially for, well, at any level, in any size organization, but especially in that mid-sized company where they're doing the business, everything is going well. They have an onboarding program, they're getting the people in, but they're finding that their employees don't have especially bringing in later millennials and Gen Z, their employees don't have that professional acumen. They don't know what it's like to work in corporate America. They might be missing something, but your organization isn't big enough to have mentors. They might be the only person that does that one thing. At Sisyphus HR, not only me, but I have a team of seasoned professionals
Nice.
who are willing, because they have that same compassion of pouring, they are willing to be mentors, paid mentors, but mentors
Hmm.
to other people to say, hey, as part of your onboarding process, why don't you hire Sisyphus HR? You just brought in, let's say you brought in this great um, uh, chief financial officer. I don't know what they're called, but that's what the CFO. But they really don't know how to be a CFO because you were a small company that kind of grew. This person grew with you, but now they're at a place where they've got to make different decisions, function at a higher level. They're in a growth trajectory, but you don't have time for them to like go to a class every week, or you don't have the infrastructure to even have that class every week. Sisyphus HR can either build that class for you, provide the mentor, or work to create a development plan for that leader, and we can come in and bring your leader from good to great. It can also be bringing Sisyphus HR into an organization to do group coaching. There's a mindset shift that may need to happen. How are you going to manage your teams? How are you going to reinforce your culture? Do you have a culture? How do you make your leadership really align with that culture? Bringing people through the development cycle. Your lowest level employee needs to be just as valuable as your CEO, and create that pipeline. So that is from a corporate perspective how I can do from the coaching side. From the HR technology side, that's easy. There are so many different ways. I'm working with a small insurance company right now where they just don't have any of the basic HR system. They don't have job descriptions. They got people doing work, no job description. Okay, we got to get that in order. Create an employee handbook. Create your policies and procedures. What are your standard operating procedures? And then with that leader, I'm realizing that leader, everybody that works with that leader is kind of like family. They're not biologically related, but they've been working together. They're friends. The leader doesn't like making those hard decisions. There's no performance management program. There's no progressive discipline program. So those are just things that need to be implemented and put together so that the organization can function. And that can be for a small company, and all the way up to a big company that's doing a big massive transformation using Workday or a ServiceNow or something like that, big system type thing. So we're a full service consulting firm.
Wow, Melanie, that's a lot. That's you. Yes, that girl. You are that girl, that lady, that woman, whatever you want to say. That you are that, and just
I
just
am
hearing
all of the lady,
and
woman, and girl. She lives all in here.
I'm every woman. It is all in you. It is all in you. And so I hope that the listeners who are listening are thinking about these words and thinking about what their needs are, not only professionally, for personally, and especially for our, business owners that might watch this and need to get to the next level. That they can partner with you, Sisyphus HR, to get their needs met and whatnot. I want to also give you opportunity right now to give some advice to listeners that might be listening right now, who they may be professionals in the HR field, currently may be facing some career challenges. What's a bit of advice you can get them, other than, of course, reaching out to Sisyphus HR and partnering with you? But what is some other advice you can give them if they are in the HR field and having some professional challenges right now?
Hmm. Well, my first pitch is everybody needs to get comfortable with AI. It's
Mm,
the way of the future. And I think that any HR professional that is in a job that is very process driven and that is kind of repetitive, because there's a lot in HR. The administrative work in HR can be repetitive, process driven, even in talent acquisition, a lot of different areas. If you are process driven, get ready to pivot.
Mm,
Learn AI, understand AI, understand agentic AI. That is a new way where organizations are creating AI agents to do the work of a person or many people.
hmm. Yeah.
They can't fully get rid of people, but so you need to learn how to think in a way that the AI agent can't. Klarna is a company that recently laid off 700 HR employees under the auspices of AI can do it. Well, they were HR and customer service employees with the thought that AI will do it. And this week they're having to go and find new employees because
Wow.
AI doesn't do it. You still need human interaction for the advanced question, for the if the bot can't do what it's designed to do, because it can't, it can follow a process, but it can't think. And sometimes things need to be able to think. Now, I'm not saying that in the future that won't happen and it might not be thinking for all of us. I went saw Mission Impossible and it scared the daylights out of me. But
Oh, okay.
yes, yeah, and yeah,
Okay.
whole other
I'm gonna go see
conversation
that.
there. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the new one.
Yeah.
Okay. All
The
right. Go
last
ahead.
one. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You got
Mm-hmm.
to see the one before it to understand this one. But
Oh.
mm-hmm, but see them, worth it. But it scared me. And if you understand how to work with AI, it won't take your job because there's always going to need to be the smartest person in the room who can say, oh, well, when it hits that issue, here's how to resolve it. And you
Mm-hmm.
need to be the person that knows how to resolve it. If your job
Mm-hmm.
isn't process driven and it is more human focused, how can AI make you more efficient? One of my business partners is an AI genius. Her name is Tiffany Ingram. She owns LuxLink Business Solutions. She is amazing at AI for the HR professional. She teaches classes on AI and all of that. So you can reach out to me and we can create a partnership to
Nice.
work with your business or with you so that you can learn the AI tools that you need, get that practice, and figure out in your organization, where do you put AI and then what do you do with the people? Because again, like I said, you have to upskill a lot of people in order to have them be able to work with the AI agents. And so it's not about replacing people, but it is kind of like in the, and I use this in a very pedestrian way as an example, but it's like the Detroit car manufacturing scenario
Mm-hmm.
where the people knew how to make cars. And then when that market moved offshore and things changed, there wasn't something to help the people get upskilled into something else to be able to continue to work. And Detroit had a period of, depression for a
Mm-hmm.
while. If you know AI and aren't afraid of it and figure out how it applies to your job and how you can work with it, you're going to be able to move with the cheese. One of my favorite books is Who Moved My Cheese.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
got to be able to move with the cheese. The handwriting is on the wall. So
Yes.
move with the cheese, learn AI, build that into your personal life, your professional life, and just understand it. You don't have to fear it. I'm not a AI guru, but that's why I have a partner who understands that piece to help keep us moving. That is very important, and that would probably be, probably my biggest piece of advice for any HR practitioner or anybody that is in a job that AI is coming. Learn it, understand it, respect it, and figure out how. If you think it could replace you, then figure out how it could replace you, and then figure out how to not let it.
That's it. That's it. I agree wholeheartedly. Agree wholeheartedly. I
Hmm.
think we've talked before, and I've said like if you have one of those jobs where you're sitting around saying this shit is easy, and I don't know how I'm getting this check. This is easy money right here. I don't even like. Okay, if that's your job, you in danger, girl. You in danger.
You
You
in
in
danger?
danger.
Hmm.
Because yes, because we've been using the AI now at fast food restaurants. I thought that was so crazy. Driving up to Bojangles and this AI voice, we're having a wonderful day here at Bojangles. Would you like to try our new apple pie and whatnot? And I was like, no, okay, go ahead with your order. And it was an AI voice and took my entire order. And I was just like, wow. And I know that it benefits the company because this AI is always chipper. This AI is always on time. There's no hold please. There's no I'm trying to take your order. Hold on, wait a minute. Can you all? There was none of that. It was just
None of that.
professional. She took my order,
Hmm.
she confirmed it right, and moved it along. And that line was moving so swiftly. So yes, I definitely say if you
And we
are
can go
in a
down a
job,
whole rabbit hole about customer service, and
yes.
then again, that is why I've created what I'm calling my Wisdom Academy of seasoned
Nice.
professionals and partnering with Gen Z to talk about some of the things that they've missed because we are older. We had to learn customer service in our homes. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
ma'am. No, sir. I'm going to go get that for you, and that wasn't the same in Gen Z. Not a shade because I love my Gen Z and millennial friends. They keep me
Mm-hmm.
abreast. But
Yes.
this is something where I realize we need to pour into them to help them be able to sustain in the long run. And it offers those of us Gen Zers and baby boomers the opportunity to understand and experience the world from their perspective. There's so much energy in the younger generation, and I don't want to lose my enthusiasm and connection and zest for life. One of the things that I have disliked in corporate America is that the people that get to the C-suite, they seem to either, and I have a whole spiel on this, but they seem to either forget what it's like to be doing the work
Mm-hmm.
or they never did it in the first place because of their privilege. They leapfrogged over the work to getting into leadership roles and not knowing how to lead. And I refuse to do that in my organization.
Nice, nice. Love it. And then you touched on the importance of being diverse, the importance of diversity, and
Hmm.
why that is important. That you have everyone, because everyone has something to offer. Everyone has a strength. Um, we're doing the
And
Strength Finders
and
thing.
I must interject that
Come on, what's that?
diversity in my world does not mean exclusively race or gender.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I believe in, and this is I shared this, and I'm going to be talking in some more speaking series about this. We have we have made DEI a bad word. We've made affirmative action a bad word. I almost hesitated when I said my parents were part of affirmative action, but that's what it was.
Yeah,
You had to make organizations take in people of color because otherwise they wouldn't.
they wouldn't, right?
So we are now in a phase because all the DEI programs, the language, the literature, everything at the core essence. And I came up with this with one of my business partners. Her name is Chris Bell in California, who
Mm-hmm.
is a writer, author, and she does amazing work. If you don't know her, look her up. But she and I partnered. We were going to create kind of a training class for DEI professionals who needed to pivot in this new world. And we realized, one, that's not our work, which is why it didn't come to fruition. However, the core element of it she brought to the table was all DEI is creating a welcoming environment for everybody. And if you can be welcoming, then people will be comfortable. It's just like if you are inviting someone into your home, you're going to offer, and this may be, my Southern element come from Southern parents, but you're going to offer them something to drink. You've never
Mm,
had somebody in your house and say, you want something to drink? You need something to eat? Are you comfortable? Here's the bathroom. There's what do you need? Make yourself at home. We do that in our homes. Why don't we do that in our businesses?
mm,
You need to be welcome. Everybody should be welcome. Now, there are some people you don't want in your business. Yeah, you can have that criteria. Those people are not welcome. But if you hired them or you contracted them with them, they need to feel welcome. And
oh,
it
that's
is
beautiful.
incumbent upon you, the leader, the person that is in the room, to create the welcoming environment for the person coming into the room. Yes, it is the responsibility of the person walking in the room to speak, but the person in the room has to be welcoming. And so, from my perspective, in my organization, I don't need a DEI program to tell me to be welcoming. And
Mm,
everybody
come
that
on.
I work with, that is the core element as I am interviewing and talking with people. Do you make me feel welcome? If I don't feel welcome with you, my clients aren't going to feel welcome with you. That you can't be here. You have to create welcoming. And I think that is an element that needs to be infused in every organization. Forget about, the titles of the programs. You can call it onboarding, all of that, but is it welcoming?
Mm, nice. Thank you for that, Melanie. Thank you
You're
so
welcome.
much for that. So, you all have, I've heard, hope that there's been something in this conversation that has just inspired you, the listener, and just got you thinking differently, about your own personal growth, the profession you are in. And I do hope that you don't hesitate to reach out to Melanie, if you do want to know more about her, or also if you are interested in using one of those services that she currently offers. How can they locate you, Melanie? If anyone's listening and they want to connect with you, what is the best way to connect with you, and also the best way to read more about who you are and also the services you provide?
So, to learn more about me, well, let me talk about the business first. The business is more important than me.
Yes,
So
yes.
first, go to Sisyphus HR. That's www.sisyphushr.com. That's Sisyphush.com. That
Mhm.
is where you will see all of the information and can access everything. If you want to know more about me personally, you can go find me on LinkedIn. And my little slash is Melanie White HR, so that you will see me. And I'm in green because green is the color of money. And you will see more
Yes.
about me, and you will be able to connect to Sisyphus. Please do my free HR assessment if you're an HR organization. Please do my coaching survey. It's helping me continue to move my coaching program and make it more customized for people who really need coaching. So reach out there. And if you really just have questions or want to talk to me, send me an email. I am open to any kind of feedback, questions, all of that. My email is Melanie at sisyphushr.com. So that's Melanie at sisyphushr.com.
All right. All right. Any other last words you would like to share? Also, too, do you have any upcoming events or anything that people should be on the lookout for?
Just stay on the lookout. There is a lot going on. My wait list for my coaching program is full. I just
Nice.
had someone yesterday be like, okay, I can't wait. So can you move me up so I'm juggling things
Be the
around?
VIP.
Yes. Uh-huh. So yes, we're gonna do.
Right.
I'm building a VIP program, and so just give me your thoughts and ideas. But what's coming up? Um, there's nothing on the books yet. I'm building a speaker series where I'll be talking with a lot of different professionals just about the work world and what they can learn, how to navigate the workplace. I'm building a conversation with a gentleman named Warren Sadler. You probably need to talk with him, John,
Okay.
because he has a company called Therify, which is he's selling it to HR organizations, companies, but it provides culturally relevant therapists
Oh, nice.
for
Okay, I like
online
that.
therapy.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that is powerful. So we're doing a lot of conversation about safety in the workplace, emotional uh, safety, helping leaders grow and be safe leaders. So that is a speaker series that we're working on.
All right. All right. So be on the lookout. Be on
Mhm.
the lookout. Make sure, and we will, I guess, when you get those updates and dropping them, they can go to your site. And
Yes, they will.
are
Everything
they
will
able
always
to
be on my site.
subscribe to your
hmm
site or
I
be
have a
a
newsletter that they
newsletter?
can
Okay.
sign up for. If you go to sisyphushr.com right now, you can sign in, become just a part of our community. If you want to be, I've got groups that are in there just for people to talk with each other and
Okay.
develop. It's totally free with the expectation that you will grow and want either the HR program or the coaching
Mm-hmm.
program. But
Mm-hmm.
get involved, see what's going on with Sisyphus, stay connected, get the newsletter. Um, right now, it's coming out monthly, but we're working to get it out on a more regular basis.
Okay.
Lovey Ajayi is my goal. I love getting her newsletter every week, and so I want to get to the place where I can send out mine every week and really have new and fun information to talk about every week.
All right, you all. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Melanie, for giving us this time today. We want to
No,
wrap up
thank
this
you
episode.
for
Oh,
doing this and asking me. I was so honored.
of
I have been watching
course.
your growth and have, just been so pleased with how you have transformed in the last 10 years. And so to be able to come and be on your podcast, I think I said to you
Yeah.
many years ago, one day I'm gonna be working for you. And this is just the beginning of me working for you.
Yeah, well, thank you.
You're
Thank,
welcome.
thank you as well. But I am glad that you were able to come on and everything. And so, all right, you all, you go check out Melanie. You know the website now, Sisyphus HR. I'm gonna spell that one more time for him. That was SISY
Why?
PHUSHR.com. All
Yes.
right. Thank you, Melanie. And thank you again. And you're sure you will be back because you had a lot of things that I could have definitely talked about different things throughout your life, but I did want to get it down to at least an hour. We're like 2 minutes over. So she will be back. So if you have any questions that maybe you wanted her to expound on, or you please feel free to reach out to me, and we'll get Melanie back on to answer some of your questions as
Absolutely.
well. All right. Thank you. All right.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.